Hi, you guys. I'm so glad to have you all on the training call today. My name is Sarah Flake, and I'm going to be co-leading today with my coach partner, Gretchen. I live in Las Vegas, and Gretchen's out in Michigan for now. Gretchen, you're moving to Boise, though, like in a month, right?
Yep, in December, I'll be in Idaho, just before
Okay.
the snow hits Michigan.
So I really wanted Gretchen to lead this call with me today because we're talking about follow-up and we're talking about staying connected with people. And I became a coach in 2012. And when I heard about sponsoring, Gretchen was the very first person I thought about that I would want to sponsor because she is so connected with people. She's lived tons of places. So I immediately started trying to, talk to her to get her on board with this. But I just wanted to start out by, Gretchen, could you tell your story about how you first heard about the program and how you came to be where you are today?
Okay, I first heard about the program from Sarah. I remember her Facebookgram opening clear back in 2012, and I actually think my husband Eric reached out to her, and they started Facebook messaging back, but she wouldn't tell him anything over Facebook, and he was super annoyed. And I think I was pregnant with one of my children. Actually, I know I was pregnant with one of my children at the time, Carly. And interestingly enough, Eric did a different program and lost a whole bunch of weight while I was pregnant with Carly. And then after I had Carly, I actually had seen Take Shape for Life, but not really Take Shape for Life, Medifast at a nurse practitioner conference, and decided that I wanted to try Medifast after I had Carly, my 3-year-old. And I did it for 1 week. And I lost 7 pounds. And then I thought it was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my entire life. And I gave up and never did it again. But I knew what Sarah was doing. So fast forward, I ended up having twins about 18 months ago. And after I had the twins and I knew I needed to do something, Sarah was the first person I called. And this time, and she'd been persistent. She kept me top of mind. She had kept, I obviously was on her Facebook feed. I don't think I ever actually got her newsletter, but I had gotten, she was always posting stuff on Facebook. One of our other mutual friends, Debbie, had done the program and had great success. So as soon as I was ready, I called her, and I don't even think I listened to the instruction script. I just said, okay, and gave her my credit card and started. So, and it's changed my life. And the difference between having a coach and doing the program without a coach has been huge. And I think that's what's made all the difference in the world, because I tried to do the program myself and it didn't work. So, just keeping in contact with those people and keeping up with them. If Sarah hadn't still been posting stuff, I would have never reached out to her when I was ready.
Okay, I just wanted you guys to hear Gretchen's story. Let me see a quick raise of hands. How many people on this call heard about Take Shape for Life and signed up as a client the same day? Do I see any hands? Okay, I see one hand. All right, is that it? One hand? All right, now here's another question. How many of you on this call feel a little bit deflated when you do the interested script with someone and they say, no, we're not now, honestly? Okay, so I see a couple hands here. Great. I just want to really drive the point home with you guys that we are a relationship business. And, according to all the studies, most people are going to take at least 2 to 3 months to think over a new idea, and they're going to need about at least 5 exposures to a new idea. So that interested call just feels so good about knowing when you do that interested call, they're probably not going to sign up. They're probably not going to sign up that day, and be okay with that. I'd love to hear someone else's experience. Let's see. Connie, can you unmute for a sec? I'm going to put you on the spot. Oh, are you good to talk? Shan, can you unmute her? Connie, can you tell me when you first heard about the program and then how you eventually ended up being a client?
We first heard about it from when Joe, Wendy's husband, posted it on Facebook. And I thought, well, if he can do it, then it looks like something that we could check into. And so we did. It took a little bit. I wanted Wendy to tell me more than she would. She gave me the Optimal Health site, and I checked things over. I wanted to know the name of the program, but she was very persistent and wanted to talk to me first. So we did, and actually when she talked to us, we were ready, so we signed up right then.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, does anyone else have an experience of what it was like hearing about the program to actually signing up that involved a little bit of follow-up?
For me, Sarah, I'll just share my experience. I knew Amber for years. For years, I watched her health coach. And in fact, I had an aunt that also did this as well. And I watched both of them become a health coach and like help a lot of people. And I thought that is so cool what they're doing. I wasn't totally sold, I wouldn't say, but I just thought it was a really cool thing. And so, one of them, Amber, reached out to me and actually asked me if I would ever want to become a health coach. And I said, you know what? I would love to look into that. Actually, that sounds like it would be really fun. Let me look into it. And after that, it took a while. I read through The Habits of Health. I did lots of things to ensure that it was a decision I wanted to make. But I look at that, and that's a great example of follow-up and actually asking and not just assuming people are just going to come to you when they're interested. Because sometimes we have to make the first move. People are scared. We're kind of trained to, I don't know what our culture is, but we're a little bit scared. But the fact that Amber asked me, I didn't know that it was a possibility for me until she did. So that's my story.
Nice. Yeah, Marcy.
Where my last 4 new clients that have come from, one of those had actually had gone to a church meeting and heard Liz Jensen give a presentation, and she'd met like 2 or 3 coaches and just had heard about a health coach. And then it just so happened that her brother married my niece, and we were at the reception and started talking. And after that, we set up a consultation. It took about a month or so, and she got started. With the other 2 new clients, I talked to them over 2 years ago. They did a health games, and I've kind of every once in a while had invited them to another health games, and I probably contacted them every 2 to 3 months or so to see how they're doing. And now they're both doing the program over a year later after I talked to them. I can't even say how many clients I've had in the 3 years that it's taken 1 to over a year, 2 years for people to sign it.
Trisha has a comment too. Do you want to come off mute, Trisha?
Yeah, sorry. I just really quick wanted to say that like I had been following Chantel. I had seen that she was a health coach and did stuff with like teaching healthy lifestyle is what I thought, which was true. And we met at a park and we talked about the program, and I was like, meal replacements, no thanks. Like, cause that was just kind of what I got from it. And then it took going to an actual meeting cause I was still kind of interested, but seeing the whole visual of the whole picture is what got me. And so I just think different things attract different people. Like I'm a very visual person. And so it took that for me to take the plunge. So
nice.
That's all.
Good. Okay. Let me just read some statistics to you guys. They've done a lot of studies on sales. And, I hate to put the sales word out there, but at the end of the day, this is a business. But they did studies showing, who actually ended up getting the sale. And they showed very consistently for people who ended up going with the product, it was after about their 5th exposure. That was typically when they decided to make the plunge. 44% of salespeople give up after hearing one no. 44%. They hear that first no on the interested skip and they give up. Okay. 22% of people give up after the second no. 14% give up after the 3rd rejection. 12% give up after the 4th. And so 92% of people give up before they even get to that 5th part. So only 8% of people stay consistent enough and stay connected enough with people to finally make that final sale. Now, what does that mean, that follow-up? Does that mean we're calling them asking for their credit cards? Is that what that follow-up is? No. These connections, 5 layers, this is having relationships with people. And I wanted Gretchen to talk for a moment because Gretchen is like, she's like Kevin Bacon. Everyone in America is related to her within like 2 or 3 or however many degrees. Like she knows so many people. So Gretchen, give us just an overview of how you've managed to stay connected with so many people.
I think this part actually just leads to one of my strengths already, is that I really just love people. And the other day I was riding my bike in the morning and I thought, I think the reason I love this business so much is because I truly love people. Like, I love talking to people on the phone. I love hearing what's going on in their lives. I just really love knowing what my friends are doing. And so I think that, you know, just enjoying relationships with people has really made this easy. And I would say some of my first few clients all came with people. Some of my clients have come because they didn't hear it the first time, the second time. You know, I'm just friends with them. I just love this. It's helped me so much. They just, you know, they hear it all the time from me. And I think that eventually, you know, and I don't get my feelings hurt when they say no the first time. I mean, I didn't say yes the first time. And I know that eventually if they're still looking for something, then they'll come and ask me because they know that I love them as a person and I'm not just trying to sell them something.
Good. Thank you. Yeah. And, you know, she's just been so impressive to me because she really, I don't think you didn't have any clients when you came to convention, right, Gretchen?
I had one, my mother-in-law.
Oh, Linda, who's on this call now as a coach. But, you know, she was able to just really see that this is a business not of sales because she didn't want to be in sales, but this was a business of just relationships. And she thought, I'm good at that. I like people. I want to help people. So, you know, coming to at that fundamentally, when we're talking about follow-up isn't bugging people. It's not giving things they don't want. It's just loving people. It's being a good friend for people. So let's think about some of the reasons why people wouldn't be ready right now. Are they terrible, awful reasons? Like for me, I wasn't ready because, oh man, what was my reason? Why wasn't I ready? That's a good question. I'm going to think about that. You guys tell me some of the reasons why you weren't ready. Let's see, any hands? Take yourself off mute. Heidi, I heard you say money.
Mm-hmm.
Can you come off mute, Heidi? Tell us why that changed for you.
Probably because I saw the value of what this was, and it wasn't just like this simple, just whatever, like fad diet. I saw it as like helping other people, and the healthy habits is really what kind of set it apart from a lot of other companies out there, I think. And so the money part can be an issue for people, but I think if you let them realize the value of what we offer, you know, the money, it ends up working out for a lot of people. So like for me, I had to save up to be able to become a coach and do the program. So, you know,
That takes time.
yeah. So
Chantel.
That's great, Heidi. And I love it. It really is about the value. And how many times do we come across that? Whenever somebody does tell me, oh, you know, I can't afford it or whatever, I just think, well, they don't see the value in it yet, but you know, that once they're dripped on or whatever, they will eventually. But what I was going to say was I first didn't join at the beginning. Well, I should say my only reservation to becoming a health coach was I didn't want to be a salesperson. That was my big one at the beginning. And I have to say, being a coach for 4 years now, it's so interesting to me because I've never once been in a position where I felt like I've had to be a salesperson. And it's so funny that was my big hang up. But I mean, we have a team of hundreds and hundreds of health coaches that have been brought onto our team clients, I don't even know how many clients, but I've never had to sell. It's just the most amazing thing to me. So it's funny that was a big hang up, but I'm over it now.
Yeah. You know, I have this one gal who's been telling me for years that she wants to do it, but like every time I connect with her, she's pregnant again. Like, I don't know, this girl has so many babies and like, but that's legitimate, right? Like she's not going to do it if she's pregnant. So that's fine. So timing's a thing. But let me just go through, you guys, and just tell you my process for follow-up, what that actually looks like. Everyone, you're going to have your own process, but I want you to really see what follow-up, what that can look like. So someone expresses interest to me in the program. I set up a time and I explain it. More times than not, they're not ready on that call. Immediately after that call, I get their email on the call and I send them a follow-up email that just kind of recaps. It has a link to my website, kind of a summary of the price, reemphasizes how much I'd love to help them reach their very specific goal. And on that on the interested script call, I say, hey, I'm going to send you this email. Can I call you on, X date? And we can see if you had any more questions. Because we went over a lot today. You're probably going to have some questions. So I set that for either 1 to 2 days out. I call and make that follow-up. If they don't answer the phone, I'm going to call a second time, maybe a few days later. Hey, I know you're busy. I just wanted to see what you thought about this. Did you have a chance to talk with your husband? If they don't answer that phone a third time, or if they don't answer the second time, then I call one more time and we do off the hook. Have you guys heard of off the hook before? Has anyone heard of that? Okay. Off the hook is so great. This is just for people who aren't responsive. So that's a scenario. Off the hook is basically, hey, I've tried calling a couple times. I know we talked about this and you were interested. I kind of feel like it might be bugging you, though I haven't heard back. I'm going to leave the ball in your court. If you want to hear more about this, I'm here for you. I'd love to help whenever. Can't wait to see you this weekend, blah, 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 and you're done. You're not going to talk to them about the program again. So that's one scenario. But now say you've got another scenario where you call them 2 days after and they're like, oh, yeah. I still just need to think about it some more. Well, that's okay. Hey, let's set a time. What if I called you in a week? What are some of your concerns? Is that going to give you enough time to think about it? So we set another follow-up time. There are some people who just keep scheduling follow-ups for like 2 months. Oh, well, call me on this date. Oh, well, call me on this date. And I just keep following up until they say, I'm not interested. I just keep letting them, set me out for a follow-up. If I'm starting to get voicemails, though, then again, we do the off the hook. So after you talk to people, you follow up until either they've said not now or they stop answering. And then I love to plug these people in. I make sure I'm Facebook friends with them. If it's appropriate, I add them to our client group. Just send them a Facebook note saying, hey, I know you're thinking about this. I just added you so you could see what our community looks like. Take a look at our community. You might like it. Just so you can see real world. I add them to my Connections newsletter, and twice a month they're getting, client stories and recipes. I'm emailing them about challenges that come up. And so even though I'm not calling them anymore saying, hey, are you ready to start the program? I'm still just keeping them in my world. I'm commenting on their Facebook page. So this keeps them warm. So someone like Gretchen, who had been exposed to this, almost 3 years before, when she's ready, she knows exactly where to come to. All right, what about you guys? What are some other things that you do to keep people in your warm area, your follow-up zone? I'd love to hear any other ideas. Amy, I'm going to pick on you because I can see you're thinking. What did I forget? What else are you doing? Anything? Oh, you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
Well, I was actually just trying to think, what else do I do to keep my warm people warm? I do have one thing, is the people that I have, I don't know, that I have I keep 10 people on the list each week that I just want to keep intentional thoughts on. And those people on Facebook, I follow them first. So I go and change the follow status and I'm following them first. So I see every post that they post so that I can, build that relationship with them.
I love that. Good. So she's specifically following people. That's great. And I'd forgotten you can do that. You just click, it's like a setting, and you just click to follow so that when their Facebook statuses come. So Nyla, I think when you go to their Facebook page, there's a button that just says follow, right? Isn't that Amy?
Yeah, you go to their page and push follow, and it says show their posts first or something like that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And a lot of us are trained with Dave Blanchard. The reason that's so effective is because Amy is not just trying to sell something to them. She's actually just getting a view of what their life looks like. She's seeing what they're going through every day. She's creating a real relationship with this person so that when this person, is interacting with her, she can authentically be like, hey, I know you. I get you. I see what's going on. And this might be able to help with this certain need that I see in your life, right? So it's not just like we're doing these cold sales, because how many times have you guys had someone that you approached about coaching and they say, I don't do sales, right? We don't want to do sales. We don't want to have that icky, yucky feeling where we're pushing something on someone that we're not sure if they need. So if you know them and you're following up with them and you're Facebook friends with them, who doesn't need this, first of all? But honestly, like the more you meet them, the more you can see that need. Gretchen, can you give us an example of maybe one of the clients that you signed up most recently and what that follow-up looked like?
Yeah, I was thinking about one of my friends, Callie, who ended up joining. I know her, from the community, and she, oops, just a second. Sorry, you lose me. Okay. She saw me lose, my weight. She commented on some posts on Facebook. I followed up with her. We made an appointment, did the interested script with her. And then I said, I'm going to follow up with you in 2 days. And so I called and the phone kept ringing and ringing. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get her answering machine. And she finally picked up. Actually, I think it may have hit her answering machine. And then she picked up and I said, hi, Callie. And she said, hi, Gretchen. I wasn't going to answer the phone because I know that what you're going to ask me, and I've been thinking about it, and I think the answer is yes, but I know it's going to be really hard, so I wasn't really sure I wanted to talk to you today or not. And so she signed up, and actually she's been on the program, I think, 13 weeks now and lost almost 40 pounds. And, you know, it's just doing so awesome. But if I had never called her back, she probably would have never reached out back to me. She probably would have just been thinking about it, and it would have just been that awkward conversation we had that she never knew. I was thinking, well, I wonder if she's going to do this or not.
Awesome. Thank you. And, you know, just going back to the market research, there's been a lot of studies done on when people finally like go for it, when the sale is made. And that happens 80% of the time, not on the first encounter. It's the non-routine. It's just the follow-up. 80% of sales, what do they say? They say 80% of non-routine sales occur after at least 5 follow-ups. So, you know, if we really love these people and we really want to help them, don't be afraid to follow up. They're the one who opened the door originally. If they had that interested conversation with you, you know what that need is. And if you love them enough to truly be empathetic and just stay in their world so that when they're ready, they know where to find you, like that is invaluable. They're going to be so grateful for you. How grateful am I to my coach, Chantel? She never just came out and said, hey, Sarah, let me tell you about this program. She did come down to Las Vegas and she stayed at my house and she just told me about her experiences with the people she was meeting and she was excited about it. She happened to just have an income disclosure statement lying around at a family party one time. You know, that didn't hurt. You know, I saw her and my sister-in-law Amanda with their little chocolate mint bars. I was already doing a program that used meal replacements that was awful. And so, you know, when finally my frame of mind was right, I was able to call her up, and I don't believe she ever even explained it to me either. I basically just said, whatever, send me a month's worth.
No, I have to say something to embarrass you, Sarah.
Okay.
I have to say something. On that call, I remember that call very specifically, and I remember exactly where I was. And I remember that I was like, oh, and then there's Habits of Health book. And you're like, no, I don't need that. That's okay. No, like, can we just like not do the books or whatever? And I was like, oh, well, what you were explaining earlier about, you know, you really want to be able to keep it off. That's really what the book is all about. It's going to teach you how to keep off. And then you're like, oh, okay, great. We'll throw in the books. So there you go. I had to embarrass you for a second.
So, you know, I mean, I just knew that Chantel was an awesome person. I knew that she loved me. I knew that like she was just all about doing good for people. And so let's have that be what we're about. I think Kat Fuller was talking on a training call a bit ago about how as coaches we're lighthouses. And so that means that the light is always on. The door is always open. Like we are always there. It's not just, oh, you didn't want it on the first time, so you know, shop's closed. That's it. I'm not gonna be here for this anymore. Like we're never talking about this again. Just make sure that this is what you stand for 24/7. You're there because we love people. I want to hear about what you guys do though when someone says no. So you're on the interested call with someone, and then at the end they say, nope, this is stupid. Nope, nope, nope. What can you do then? What can you do at that point because we all know no means not now, right? Okay, so what have you guys done in that situation? I'm curious to know.
Sarah, I ask questions like why, what's holding you back, and ask just why the reason is, you know, if it's financially or if it's, you know, like, oh, this program doesn't work and it sounds like, you know, I don't know. I just try to ask questions and why they don't think it'll work for them.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that has led to and what kind of discussion that's opened?
A lot of it, like some of the clients that I've been working with, it's more like they have emotional eating problems and they just don't want to do something else. A lot of it, I think, is just fear for people. They don't want to do something again and fail. They just don't want to. And I think when you meet them where you're at and say, I remember that feeling, I know that feeling, you know, that they do it. And I always tell my clients that my job as their health coach, the first thing I tell them in the support section is my job is to love you until you learn to love yourself. And I know it sounds cheesy and corny, but it really is. That's what our health coaches are there for. Until until we can see that worth in ourselves, I think sometimes people just need that. And a lot of people are like, wow, you know, and I think when you tell them that, I am sincere when I say that, but I think they realize that it's not just, I just don't want your credit card. I don't want you just to lose weight. I want you to love yourself.
Wow, I got chills when she said that. That's awesome. Wow.
Thanks.
I'm gonna start telling my people that hashtag Lindsay is awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
Like I said, it's true. Like I said, I feel like that's what our coaches, that's what Chantel has done, not for me, but I really feel like that is what we are doing. We're trying to teach them to love themselves. I think that's the bottom line.
That's awesome. Well, and you know, let's talk for a sec about how to keep track of all this. How many of you guys ever feel overwhelmed with all your people and all your lists and knowing who to talk to? Any hands on that? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard knowing. Gretchen, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What do you do to keep track of who you're following up with?
I have a binder. Doesn't everybody have a binder? I'll show you my binder, except for I can't do share screen. I just keep everybody's, I have in my folder, I keep everybody in this, like, oh, you can't see it. I don't know how to show you. Yeah, I can't figure out how to show you, but I keep a binder, and then I keep kind of like, Amy, a running list of people I've talked to. So, and my husband made me he's a Google Master Pro. He made me a spreadsheet with all the people who've like ever liked comments or ever asked to hear the interested script or any of those things. So I always have this list of people who actually have expressed some interest in some way or not. So if I'm ever bored thinking of something to do, then I look at that and reach out to some people on that list.
Awesome. Okay, so Gretchen, it sounds like, has kind of a combination of an online document and a binder. What are some other ways? Because there's no perfect way. Everyone's got their different things. So I'd love to hear some other ways that you guys.
Oh, wait. Hey, sorry, I forgot a big one. It's my Google Calendar. Like if I tell people I'm going to follow up on them, then I put a reminder to call them on that day. And if they say follow up with me in 3 months, then I put a reminder out 3 months. So I think I couldn't do this without my Google Calendar.
Awesome. Thank you. Who else? Who else has a way that's really been helpful for them?
Sarah, I use OneNote. It's just an app that you can have on your iPad, your phone, and on your computer. And the same kind of thing. I have the exact same kind of tabs and all of that. And now with everything being digitally, all the files and all that, you can actually just put them in there. So I have, you know, file one, my new clients, and everything's in the same place.
Cool. Who else is using OneNote? Any hands on that one? I've never tried that. I'll have to look into that. Okay, what else? What else are you guys doing? Wendy Christensen, I'm curious about you because I know you have a lot of clients. You're one of our 10K Club members. How do you keep all your follow-up organized?
I am taking notes from all of you because I am not an organized person. I will be honest. I am old school. You see my tablet here? I write all my notes in here, and I need to transfer everything to the computer. But I just have a notebook, and I write down what when I've contacted somebody and what they talked about or what we talked about, and then I try to use that. But I want to get to the computer and move it over.
See, and I love that. I love that Wendy said that because obviously it's not holding her back. She has a huge business. Very few coaches have as much frontline volume as she has. And she just said, I don't know, I'm not organized. But the thing about Wendy is she's so empathetic and so loving that she can't stop the clients from coming in. So, you know, don't worry if your organization system isn't exactly where you want it. Just keep loving on these people. Don't give up on them. Chantel?
Yeah, I mean, I have probably changed my organizational system probably 10 times over the years. I finally have found one that has worked for the past year or so, but it's just do what works. And then you'll think of a better thing in the process. I'm so much a candidate of make a big mess and clean it up afterwards. You know, like don't sit there and think about the perfect system so that you can then talk to somebody. It's, hey, get those clients, get them going and see kind of what works. Hey, I'm going to tweak this, or I'm going to tweak this, or I got this idea on this. And, you know, I'll do that. That's why we have these calls, but really just get to work, really.
And, you know, I like the idea of keeping track however you want to do it, just so I can see if I've had those 5 follow-ups. And very rarely are there 5 follow-ups and someone isn't a lot closer to signing up or is already signed up. And so however you're keeping notes, just really make sure there's at least 5 layers, adding to the Facebook group, inviting to games, you know, just calling to revisit it after a couple months. Just make sure that you're not giving up on yourself or on them after that first or second or third time, because it's not enough time. And all the studies show that they're going to come. They just need more exposure. They need to have a better relationship with you. There needs to be more trust. There needs to be more time, whatever it's going to be. So I really want to encourage you guys as we're wrapping up. Don't worry. When you hear no's, what does no mean?
Not yet.
Not yet. Right. Gretchen, do you have any final things you want to say before we wrap up?
No, no, I think you did a great job, Sarah. I think one of the things is just love people. And if you love people, then they'll see that you love them too. And if you don't love them, then you're in the wrong business. If you don't really want to help them, then you might as well get a new job. So that's it.
And just a quick shout out to Shauna, who's on this call right now. You guys can see she's like lying in a hospital bed recovering. What kind of dedication. Awesome, Shauna. I'm so glad you're on. Anyway, I loved you guys all so much. I learned so much from you guys. I really love that you're on this training today. If you take nothing away, just take away the fact that you are loved and spread that onto your clients. And like, that's all we need. I don't care if you don't know the nutritional content of the food or what even a file folder is. That doesn't matter. Just go out and love people. Don't stop loving them. But thanks so much for being on. You guys are great.
Thank you, Sarah.